Hi, I'm going to show you how to very quickly apply some typographic principles to a website header, and we're going to end up with something very simple in black and white that looks like this, just as a starter. Okay, so initially you need to get all of your content onto the page, ideally real content, as in the word you want to use rather than lorem ipsum. I'm also going to use a very simple element, an organic shape, and I've found an image. Okay, so first thing, I'm going to go to the frame tool, drag on a desktop frame. Okay, now I'm going to drag this on to the frame, and you can find an organic shape at blobmaker.app, and there are various other websites that you can use. So how to mask the shape: make sure you send it to the back, then select both, right click and use as mask. Okay, now I'm going to pull this box aside for now and move these things out of the way, and I'm going to bring this image in the shape onto the frame and just place it a little bit at the edge there for the moment. Okay, now whoops, if that happens, by the way, you can select everything and go to constraints and just set it to left and top, and that way if you want to make the header smaller, it's going to do that properly for you. Okay, so I'm going to hit Z and zoom in a little bit so we can see what we're doing. Now I've already chosen a business concept. I'm just going to use my own business for the moment, and I'm going to use my brand font of Montserrat. So I've already chosen some fonts. This one is not Montserrat, so I'm going to keep this pretty standard and stick with the same kinds of fonts. Okay, now the first thing is that I'm going to align these properly. So now they're all in line. Now also what's happening here is that this box is obviously interfering with the image, so I'm going to hold Option and I'm going to drag that in. But also I've noticed that this isn't center aligned like everything else, so I'm going to center align it. It also looks really spacey, and it's a regular font there. So I'm going to select everything here and I'm going to make it 18, which is the minimum font size. Well, 16 is minimum, but 18 is better. And I'm going to make it 18 on, let's say, how 40 looks. That looks okay. And I'm going to have to recenter align these. Okay. Right, so I've decided I'm going to use a different font here. I'm going to try one of my favourites, which is Playfair Display. And that looks fine, but you see how it's really spacey between the letters. So I'm going to try something different. I'm going to put -2 in there and see how that looks. However, that's now gone on to it's strange that there's only one word on the second line, so I'm going to hold Option. I'm going to drag it in and I'm going to see how that looks. That's not too bad. Maybe with the "and" on the second line. You can also do a carriage return or an enter after some word to fix that if you want to. Okay, now this design course here, it's actually not center aligned, so I'm going to center align it. And I think this would look better, probably a bit of a heavier weight. So I'm going to try a semi-bold there. I feel like that looks better. And it's in capitals, which matches the button. However, the button also looks like it's rather a thin weight. So I'm going to try something heavier there. So I could go bold or I could go semi-bold. Both work, but it's best to keep the typographic styles to a minimum where possible. The other thing is that the padding around this button looks a bit strange. I'm going to hold Option and drag that out a little bit. That's not too bad. Now looking at the hierarchy here, so design course does go with the title of the course, but this description seems to be a bit spacey compared to that. So I'm going to bring that up, but have a little bit more space between here, then up here, and also through the course. I'm going to bring that to there. I'm going to just grab all those and make sure they're centered. They are. Okay. Now looking at what we started with compared to now, that's not bad. I think I might move this up here so that now we've got the eye being, so the focus as you look at this is you're looking at the image and the person designing, and then our attention is brought around from here down to this area, finishing up at view the course, which is where you want the user to click to look at the course. So let's have a check what fonts have been applied here. So this actually is a weird size, so I'm going to make that 16, and to keep it neat I'll make that 16 on 60. This one we've got 58.39, so something's gone crazy there. So let's make that 60 on, say, 76. I'm going to have to pull this up and holding Option, pull that out. That's looking fine. This one we've got 18 on 40. I'm happy with that. That looks fine. And this last one we've got 23, so that's really strange. So since this paragraph text is 18, I'm going to try an 18 here, see if that's good enough. It's actually fine. But the semi-bold I'm not liking. I'm actually going to go with bold there just to make that stand out a bit more. So I've checked through the typography. Now if I wanted to, from that, once I've finalised the style, I can make a style guide. Now coming back to where we started, so that's what I said I was going to end up with roughly, and here you've got this. Now if I want to change the background colour to match the initial one, I can do that too. Once you go past a certain point though, that text becomes unreadable. And the point of this is just to design in black and white, and this is just a starter to get the typography right. More design would happen after this, but this is just to show you how a designer works with typographic principles to make things readable and a nice layout with a good flow through the header. Okay.